Radio.
And a good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. My son Charlie's 11th birthday. Hope you're all having a great day. Me and you for two. Those are the rules of engagement. The fastest 2 hours in sports talk radio right here on ESPN New York. We go from 1 to 3 right into Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg at 3 o'clock. A lot of stuff to do today, a lot of stuff to talk about. It's a Wednesday. We'll talk with Mike Lupica in the 2 o'clock hour. We're going to talk to Rich Cimini at 1:45 today to try to get Rich's injury report for the Jets, since the coach, who likes to spar endlessly with the media, doesn't want to give injury reports anymore. He's kind of miffed that Rich gave one on Garrett Wilson. So we'll get that from Rich. Also, James Edwards covers the Knicks for The Athletic, does a great job. The Knicks are red hot yesterday with another nice win. They are undefeated at home, playing very, very well. They had a 3-game stub of the toe, and the only team in the Eastern Conference that has a better record than the Knicks would be the Pistons at 9-2, and the Knicks knocked them off in the playoffs last year. So good stuff from the Knicks. We shouldn't overlook that with everything going on with the Jets and the Giants. Giants' new coach, Mike Kafka, their interim coach, taking over for Brian Daboll, has announced that Jameis Winston is going to be the starting quarterback for the Giants this weekend. And that makes sense because Russell Wilson looks like a shot player. He really does. It looks very much so that the last great game that Russell Wilson's ever going to have is the one that he had against the Cowboys. And he couldn't finish that off, and then he just seemed very skittish. He doesn't throw the ball anymore, and why continue to run him out there? Kind of not fair to him. With Jameis Winston, hey, it's exciting. He might have 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions this weekend against the Packers. We'll see exactly what he does, but you could see that Brian Daboll had an allegiance to Russell Wilson, made a promise to Wilson that he was going to start at the beginning of the year. That's why they didn't start Jackson Dart right away. No such allegiance, no such promise was made by Mike Kafka, so he is free to go with Jameis Winston, and Jameis Winston is signed for next year as well. So what he's doing is establishing the depth chart for next year for either him or another coach, more likely, who's going to take over for the Giants, and it would be Jackson Dart as a starter and Jameis Winston as the backup, and Russell Wilson will probably be out of the NFL at that time, maybe doing TV work, not quite sure. But Russell Wilson will be the backup to Jameis Winston this weekend against the Packers. So with so much stuff going on the periphery, do want to tell you a couple of baseball things, because it's the GM meetings in Las Vegas. And David Stearns had a State of the Mets address with the media yesterday. Brian Cashman is going to have one today via Zoom for personal issues and reasons. He's not in Vegas during the GM meetings, but his lieutenants are, so the Yankees certainly are represented. Now, know one thing, that in the GM meetings, nothing really happens in terms of big announcements. What happens is people lay the groundwork. They talk with other GMs. What do you want? What are you looking for? Who's available? Who's not available? So both New York teams will certainly be doing that. But one thing caught my eye, and this has nothing to do with the GM meetings, and I took a screenshot of it so I don't forget. But let's see. Of course I'm going to forget. Here it is. So Kalshi Sports, where you can pretty much bet on anything. You can bet on anything. Not games per se, but happenings, if that makes sense. Yesterday I tweeted out, and the MVP in the American League and the National League will be announced tomorrow night, Thursday night. So Kalshi Sports has that Aaron Judge now has a 95% chance to win the American League MVP. Now, that seems to me to be a little bit steep. Now, I believe that he should be the MVP. I believe that he should beat out Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh had a great year with the home runs that he hit, the whole deal. There's no way to take anything away from Cal Raleigh. But if you look at every single number other than home runs, Aaron Judge just doesn't beat him. He dominates him. And the only reason that Aaron Judge would not win the MVP, in my opinion, would be Yankee fatigue or Judge fatigue. And they don't want to give out the award to the same guy. And Cal Raleigh's a great story and also an outstanding catcher. has previously won a Gold Glove and a Platinum Glove, being the catcher for the Mariners. You got the Mariners to the 7th game of the ALCS, 1 win away from going to the World Series, but that doesn't matter what they did in the playoffs because the voting is done before the playoffs. It has to be done after the final game of the regular season. So after game 162, you have to submit your ballot, and every single team is represented in the All-Star or in the MVP voting or in all the voting for all the major awards. Every city that has a team will have 2 people voting. Those people are chosen from the Baseball Writers Association of that city, and they submit their votes. So Seattle has 2 people that are going to vote, and in all likelihood, they've seen a lot of Raleigh. He'll probably get the vote there. A lot of people talked during the year that, well, it might end up being a tie. There's only been 1 tie, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think that Judge is going to win. But why is Kalshi have it at 95%? What did they know that we don't know? Because for the longest time, people were talking about how close it was going to be. This isn't close at all if it's 95%. Now, he could end up winning by 1 vote. And Kalshi's still right. Well, they feel that 95% chance he's going to win. Doesn't say by how much, but that he's going to win. But if it's 95%, they must think that very comfortably that he is going to win. So I'm intrigued to see what happens tomorrow night when the voting comes out. So that was one thing that caught my eye. I wanted to call it to your attention as well. Let's start with what the Yankees have to look at, when they're exploring what they could do when the winter meetings happen, which is, just over the first week of December. That's where things get done. That's where free agents get signed and things like that. The Yankees are going to need a starter. Garrett Cole seems like he's on track for coming back, but the start of the season, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. This guy had Tommy John surgery. So I don't think you come back in 12 months. He had Tommy John surgery in spring training last year, and it was a brace procedure, which means you get back a little bit sooner. But why would you rush him? You have him under contract for several more years. You don't want to rush him and have him re-injure himself. So Cole's not going to be there for opening day. Rodon's not going to be there for opening day. He probably comes back sometime in May. He had loose bodies removed from his elbow. Clark Schmidt, the Yankees are fortunate if they get Schmidt back by the end of August. So those are 3 of your starters in your rotation from last year, or the one that was looked at as the rotation that was going to happen, right? So they're going to need pitching. They have Max Fried, they have Cam Schlittler, and they have Will Warren and Luis Heel. That's still 1 short. So are they going to acquire a pitcher? Now, you have to be careful about what you do when you acquire a pitcher, because those other pitchers are coming back. We know for sure that Cole and Rodon are going to play a major role this season. Anything you get from Clark Schmidt is going to be a bonus because, he had his surgery toward the end of the year and really a little bit later than the middle of the year. So he's not going to come back anytime before August, I would think. So the Yankees are going to be out there looking for a pitcher. I don't think that they're going to explore a pitcher in the free agent market. They don't need to do that. But there's a lot of pitching that's available on the trade market. Now, one of them is Tarek Skubal. If I'm the Yankees, I'm not going for Tarek Skubal, as great as he is, because Tarek Skubal is represented by Scott Boras. So he's not going to sign a deal until the end of next year. So you're going to have to send an unbelievable package to the Tigers to get Tarek Skubal for 1 year. It's almost going to be a repeat of what you did with Juan Soto. And with Soto, it worked out because you got to the World Series, but you ended up losing, and then you lost him in free agency. But I'm not going to spend all of my minor league capital, my young players, on Tarek Skubal for 1 year. It doesn't make sense. We have enough. The Yankees have enough pitching that they don't need to do that. Joe Ryan is a guy with the Twins. I would look into him. You still have control of him for 2 years. He's a really, really good pitcher. He's tough. He's got a little bit of an attitude, a little bit crazy, and I think that I would explore that. Sandy Alcantara, coming back from Tommy John surgery last year, looked shaky at times, especially at the beginning. I think he found his footing more. Another guy I'd look into. His teammate, Edwin Cabrera. They have a control over him for a long time. Now, the thing is, do the Marlins really want to do this? Because the Marlins had a pretty good year last year. Do they think they're getting close? And they might as well keep their own. But the Yankees have done deals with the Marlins before. I would look into both of those guys. Freddie Peralta, I don't think is going anywhere. $8 million he makes this coming season. So he's a bargain. And the Brewers won 97 games, more than any team in baseball. Why would you just give up on your season? You keep that sort of player. Mackenzie Gore, very, very good pitcher with the Nationals. They're a long way away. They have a 33-year-old manager, and Gore's probably not going to be there when they turn the corner. I'd look into that, although the price would be very, very high. Sonny Gray is available. He has a no-trade clause, and the only place that he's ever failed is New York, so I think that's a non-starter. And Pablo Lopez of the Twins is another guy that I would look into as well. Smart pitcher, smart guy, gets it, reasonable price as well. I don't think you aim as high as Skubal because you've got essentially your great pitchers already signed up. You've got your Cole, you've got your Fried. Fried signed for another 7 years. So why would you even, Skubal obviously is one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's going to win the Cy Young Award tonight again, the second year in a row. But it would cost so much to get him. I'm not talking about money. I'm just talking about capital. And I just don't think you have to go that route. If you could get him reasonably and sign him to extension, I would think about it. But I would steer clear of that. Now, the interesting thing is, a name that's popped up is Paul Skenes. And Randy Miller, who writes for NJ.com, wrote today that Skenes has told his teammates that he wants to play for the Yankees. Now, all due respect to Randy Miller, his sources are his sources. I don't have any idea who they would be. Can you imagine telling your teammates on one team that you want to pitch for another team? Doesn't quite make sense. I mean, maybe you made those feelings known to the front office if they're going to deal you. Maybe he wants to go to the Yankees. I don't know if there's any truth to that. His girlfriend, Livy Dunn, has an apartment here in the city. He's certainly built for the big moment. But if you're the Pirates and he's going to win, I believe, the Cy Young Award tonight for the National League, why would you trade Paul Skenes? You have 4 more years of control over him. Now, the Pirates being the Pirates, they're not going to be able to keep this guy when he becomes a free agent. But you worry about that in 2 years. You get everything that you can get out of Paul Skenes. You want to lose your entire fan base? Is that what you want to do? Then you trade Paul Skenes. And Ben Cherington, the GM of the Pirates, tells everybody Paul Skenes is going to be pitching for the Pirates in 2026. And I believe him. Now, you make the call if you're Brian Cashman and the front office and say, what would it take? Now, that's a guy, unlike Skubal, you empty the farm system. You want Lombard, you want Jones, you want Dominguez, you want Hess, you want Schlittler. Here they are. We'll take Paul Skenes. That's the kind of deal you do. Not for Skubal for 1 year. Paul Skenes for 4. You definitely do that. He's that dominant. He's not much of a difference maker. So that's something I think it's kind of fairy tale land. And as long as he's a Pirate, there's always going to be, the rumors out there that he's going to get traded. And it happens to all Pirate pitchers. That's how Garrett Cole ended up going to the Astros. But he did that with 2 years left before becoming a free agent. Not 4. Wouldn't make any sense for the Pirates to do that. None. So the pitchers that I just named, those are pitchers I believe that the Mets should be looking into too. Now, I'm going to give you one different addendum, though, from the Yankees. I think the Mets should look into Skubal because they don't have an ace. The Yankees could argue that they have 2 aces in Fried and Cole. And Rodon is not quite an ace, but he's one level below it. Mets don't have that pitcher, and the Mets need that pitcher. And they have a stout farm system. I call up the Tigers and go, how much? What do you need? And with the money of Steve Cohen, if he likes it there, you're going to be able to sign him anyway. So you might as well use him this year. The Mets did make the playoffs last year, so they have to make bold moves. They do. And I don't know what moves are going to be enough for them to be a contender for a world championship this year. They've got an aging core. They've got guys, the one thing that their GM continues to harp on is run prevention, which would lead you to believe that he doesn't want Pete Alonso back unless Alonso says, I'll be the DH. But you've got Francisco Lindor signed for 100 more years, and shortstops don't get better defensively as they get older. Juan Soto's a bad defender in right field. You got bad defense around the diamond for the Mets. You don't even have a center fielder. And yesterday, Stern said that, Carson Benge has a chance. Jet Williams probably a little bit behind him, but Carson Benge has a chance to be the center fielder. The Mets have a lot of moves to make, and they have a $340 million payroll. They've got to re-sign Edwin Diaz because their bullpen is thin. They've got to get starting pitching, probably 2 starting pitchers. They have to get a center fielder. Brandon Nimmo is aging. You've got him for many, many more years as well. So there's some concern if you're the Mets. They've got a lot of work to do. And I tell you one thing. Steve Cohen is approaching 70 years of age. I don't think he thought this was going to take as long as it's taking when he bought the team. Remember, he said he'd hope to win a championship or 2 in 5 years. It hasn't happened. They didn't even make the playoffs in the 5th year of his ownership. So I would look for that $340 million payroll to skyrocket, because the only way that you get out of this quickly when you have an owner that's closing in on 70, I think he's 68, 69, you got to buy your way out of it, which runs contrary to the way David Stearns does business. So I wonder at what point, as Stearns is trying to preach fiscal responsibility to Cohen, that Cohen gets tired of Stearns. Stearns wants to build the team for the long term, and so does Steve Cohen, but he wants to win right now, too. I mean, the fact that they had a $340 million payroll and didn't even make the playoffs is stunning. So that's a lot of the stuff I think that's going to be talked about at the GM meetings. Again, nothing really happens at these meetings. Don't expect any big announcements, but this is where the sniffing starts. This is where you start to think, okay, what's out there? What do we have to give up? What are we willing to give up? How high are we willing to go? Free agency is going to be interesting this year. But the top prize is not Juan Soto this year. The top prize is obviously Kyle Tucker. Who's going to swim in the Kyle Tucker waters? That's going to be interesting to see as well. But again, that all starts to develop at the winter meetings in Orlando. 1-800-919-3776. That's the number. I want to talk to you. I want you to be the co-host. Again, James Edwards is going to join us in the next segment. So we definitely want to shift to the Knicks then. And Rich Cimini at 1:45. One quick note. Yesterday, my wife and I went to the Landman Season 2 premiere. It was at Alice Tully Hall in Lincoln Center. I've told you guys and gals this a lot. It's a great show. I have no dog in the fight here. I don't work for Paramount Plus. I'm just telling you, you want to have an enjoyable time streaming a show, then go and stream the first season of Landman. And the second season will be starting on Sunday. And they premiered the first episode. And it might have been better than the entire first season, which I thought was exceptional. It's funny. It's got great writing. It's from Taylor Sheridan, who does Yellowstone and Tulsa King. He's prolific, this guy, that he keeps churning out these shows that are huge hits. But it was an amazing first episode of season 2. Again, it will stream on Sunday on Paramount Plus. But Jody and I are sitting in seats. There are assigned seats. And who comes walking right next to me and then sitting down right next to me is Boomer Esiason. And he's with his son-in-law, Matt Martin. And then, like, moments later, sitting on the other side of Jody is Adam Schefter. So I guess Landman is very popular with the sports set. But one thing about Boomer said, I'm going to make fun of you on my show about your head. I said, Boomer, your head is as big as mine. And sitting next to him was probably the most uncomfortable 2 hours I've ever spent. The guy is huge. You don't realize how big he is, but he was, an MVP, NFL quarterback. His shoulders are so broad. He was spilling over into my side of my seat. So I loved the show, but sitting next to Boomer Esiason was not my idea of a good time. And I wonder how much fun they had about him sitting next to me on their show. Let's go to the phones. Let's take some phone calls before we break. We'll start off with Eric in Stanford. Eric.
Hey, Michael. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. A very happy birthday to Charlie. He's a very lucky boy.
I'm a very lucky dad, but thank you, man.
Of course. So I have 2 quick points. The first, just with the Yankee lineup retooling, I would get my checkbook out and sign Bo Bichette. I think a lot of Yankee fans don't realize that as bad as Volpe was, Bichette's defense was worse. I would think about potentially putting him at third because better offense, less range of motion, and you still have control of Ryan McMahon. So if it doesn't work out, okay, so you go there.
Whoa. If what doesn't work out? If what doesn't work out?
Meaning if Bo Bichette gets hurt, or if Volpe's out longer
you can't pay Ryan McMahon $15 million a year for the next 2 years to do nothing. I mean, if Bo Bichette, let's say in your way, Bo Bichette works out. Well, Ryan McMahon's he's not a pinch hitter. He's not a good hitter. His best thing is his defense.
So then could you play for the time being Bichette at short and then at third McMahon?
Well, but Eric, Bo Bichette at shortstop makes Anthony Volpe seem like Ozzie Smith. Bo Bichette's a bad shortstop. I'm telling you this, if the Blue Jays re-sign him, Bo Bichette's going to play second base. I'd love to have Bo Bichette as a hitter. If he didn't get hurt last year, he would have led the major leagues in hits again. The guy's a hitting machine. And on one knee, he got big hits, that big 3-run home run against Ohtani in Game 7. He's a great offensive player, but he doesn't fit on the Yankees. And even if you're not all in on Anthony Volpe, and I know a lot of Yankee fans are not, that's not the answer. Yankees want to make their defense tight. He's not a good shortstop. Because when he came back, did they play him at short? No. They kept Jimenez at shortstop. Absolutely wouldn't do that. Let's go to Rob in Florida. Rob.
Hello, what's up? My question is, well, the Yankees do need a starter. Their starters out, and they do need to pick their bullpen. But the main question is, what do you think they do to build that lineup? Because you look at the Blue Jays, they have Ernie Clement, Aston Barger, Mouser, players that could just pull the ball and play, and the Yankees don't have that. So how do the Yankees do that? They have to resign Bellinger because he does that, but what other hitters should the Yankees target?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Rob, I don't know if they're in the market for that. I mean, they have a right fielder that's signed for 5 more years. They've already offered the qualifying offer to Grisham, which I'm amazed to hear that they think he's going to turn it down. He should get his head examined. I keep hearing one of the worst arguments I've heard. Well, of course he's going to turn down the 1-year deal because there might be a lockout in 2026. Exactly. So if you sign a 3-year contract, the second year is probably going to be void if there's no baseball. So why wouldn't you take the 22? There's no way he's going to get an average annual value that even comes close to $22 million. Comes close. If he turns it down, you will turn on this show, and I will be flabbergasted that he turned it down. But you said, what are they going to do? Catching is set. Ben Rice probably going to be your first baseman. You've got Chisholm. When Volpe comes back from a surgery, he'll be at short. Ryan McMahon is at third. Judge is in right. Stanton is set for 2 more years. 2 more years as your DH. If you do sign Bellinger, and let's say for some strange reason Grisham opts out, well, then you're putting Bellinger in center, and you're probably going to have Dominguez in left. I love one thing that people talk about. They have to improve their offense. The Yankees were one of the top teams in baseball in runs scored. They led the major leagues in home runs. Now, if you want to have the argument about, well, that doesn't play in the postseason, that's an argument that we can have. But don't tell me it doesn't play in the season. That's ridiculous. It does play in the season. If I'm the Yankees, what I would look for is a hitter that makes contact from the right side that could play first and could play third. Because I'm going to want to sit Rice and McMahon against some tough left-handers. And when the Yankees made that trade for McMahon, you have to realize one thing. They threw up their hands and said, we're going to trade offense for defense. McMahon is a stupendously great defender. Not a great hitter. Never has been, even in Colorado. So I don't know exactly where you're thinking that they're going to make these major moves offensively and whether or not they think that they need to make those moves offensively. You want to make a splash? Here's how the Yankees could make a splash, and it would fit into what they're doing. Grisham doesn't take the $22 million. Then you wave goodbye, right? You sign Bellinger, and then you shock the world, and you sign Tucker too. Because Tucker's a guy who makes contact, doesn't strike out that much, will hit a lot of home runs at Yankee Stadium. That's what you do. That's the move you make if you want to shock everybody and you've improved your offense. But if you do that, then Jason Dominguez is trade bait. So is Spencer Jones. Because it's going to take a long-term contract to get Bellinger, and it's going to take a longer-term contract to get Tucker, and then you still have a Judge sign for four or five more years. So there's no room for Dominguez, none. And there would be no room for Spencer Jones. If that's the move they make, then you've pretty much said, okay, we're going to trade them. Let's see how much we can get. Again, GM meetings happening in Vegas, but nothing's going to happen there, I'm promising you. They're just laying the groundwork. Knicks, though, they are dominating. They're playing great, especially at home. They're undefeated at Madison Square Garden. We'll talk to James Edwards, who does a great job covering the team for The Athletic. We'll talk to him in just a moment. Hey, FanDuel is the number one sportsbook for same-game parlays. From points and rebounds to threes and assists, FanDuel is the best place to combine your favorite picks into a same-game parlay or track every stat live all in one easy-to-use app. And right now is the perfect time to join because new customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So bet on the players you love the way you want. Head to FanDuel.com/K to sign up today. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA, 21 plus and physically present in New York. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
Wednesday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Can the Knicks remain perfect at home?
Bridges out to Brunson for three. That is a big sequence right there, putting the Knicks back up by 13 points.
Playing here at MSG, playing at home, there's no better place to play for a group, and we fed off the energy of being here. We strung some games together because we played the right way on both ends of the floor.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
If you've been injured on a construction site, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique labor laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling construction accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for hardworking New Yorkers. From scaffold accidents to slip and falls and equipment failures, they've got your back. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS. That's right, 718-WORKERS, because your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
Alan Hahn here to tell you about my friends at Bathfitter. They remodeled a bath in my house, converting a tub into a shower. The result, amazing. Bathfitter offers custom bath renovations, including their unique PermaFit solution for a watertight fit. It's done in one day, easy to clean, durable with no demo, no mess, and it costs less than a standard replacement. Take advantage of their biggest sale of the year. Save up to $800 on a complete Bathfitter system. See their website or call for details and start designing your bath today at bathfitter.com.
Listen up, New York. It's football season, and you should be out there enjoying every play, every tailgate, every moment. But if you're dealing with neck pain, back pain, joint pain, or sciatica, even getting off the couch can feel like a challenge. That's where Dr. Jay Shaw at Sandwell Pain comes in. He's one of New Jersey's top pain specialists, Ivy League trained, double board certified, and dedicated to getting you back in the game. Here's the difference. No surgery, no scars, no long recovery, no pain medication. Just precise, non-surgical, image-guided procedures that get real results. Dr. Shaw treats everything from neck pain, back pain, migraines, nerve pain, and chronic joint pain. And he builds a custom game plan that's right for you. Same day or next day appointments are available with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood. And yes, most major insurances are accepted. So don't let pain keep you on the sidelines this season. Go to SandwellPain.com to call, text, or book online. Relief is closer than you think, and it starts today.
Hey! My dad is bringing home the best birthday cake ever!
It was my 5th birthday, and my dad was bringing home the cake.
Should have been here a half hour ago.
The cake never made it, and neither did my dad.
911, what's your
That was the day a drunk driver killed my dad. Daddy? Impaired drivers take lives. Think.
Sponsored by the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee. Aired in cooperation with the New York State Broadcasters Association.
Whether you're shopping, gaming, or streaming this Black Friday season, don't take slow for an answer. Get Optimum Fiber for the fastest, most reliable, and most consistent internet speeds, starting at $25 a month. Call 888-4OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com to switch. Act now and get a full year of Netflix, an unlimited mobile line, a $400 prepaid card, and more, all on us. Call 888-4OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com today. Optimum, don't take slow for an answer. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
Your fantasy roster is set. The smack talk is heating up, and this season, ESPN Bet is giving you more ways to ride with your squad. Introducing the ESPN Bet Fan Center, where you can instantly link and bet on your fantasy teams right in the ESPN Bet app. An enhanced sports betting experience only from ESPN Bet, the sports book for sports fans. Make the connection today with ESPN Bet Fan Center and the ESPN Fantasy app. ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Download the app today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football. It's a pepper thing.
There's so many things going on in sports that you might have missed the fact that the Knicks are kicking some serious butt. Yesterday they beat the Grizzlies 133-120. They have another game tonight against Orlando. Should be another good test. They're undefeated at Madison Square Garden. They're on a nice long homestand. And I said, got to talk to James Edwards III, who does such a great job covering the Knicks for The Athletic. And he joins us right now. James, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you coming on. Are they this good, or is this just a nice little run they're on? Because they look different. Their offense looks different. They move the ball. They move the ball quickly around the perimeter. They're getting open threes, 55 three-point attempts yesterday. How different are they than last year's Knicks?
Yeah, they're definitely different. The style is I don't want to say night and day, but drastically altered. Like you mentioned, they're shooting a lot of threes. They were in the bottom of the league last year in three-point attempts. The ball is moving. Guys are involved. They're shooting the corner threes at an elite clip. I think I had a stat the other day. No team in NBA history has ever averaged 12 corner threes per game, and they're above 13. So they're getting good shots. They're getting good quality shots. The ball's moving in the half court. The offense is really clicking. There's so many guys that can shoot, so many guys that can score. They're really good, and I think a lot of what they're doing is sustainable. What I will say is a lot of the wins in this winning streak have come against some of the worst teams in the NBA.
Right.
With Brooklyn obviously being one of them, Washington being one of them, and Memphis is going through some stuff. So Orlando's been okay, but that's a good test, a team that's been defensively sound for a few years now, and then they have a home and away series against the really good Miami Heat this weekend. So I think we'll know a little bit more about where they stand, but everything looks good. Everything looks sustainable.
When Thibodeau was let go, James, the thought process was he didn't use the bench a lot, kind of a stagnant sort of offensive system, although they did very well statistically and internally offensively. That wasn't really a big issue, but what was it, the style of play, or was it that he didn't use the bench and he used his starters too much? Is that the main reason to bring in Brown? Was it to change the offense or to change the way the whole team was used?
I mean, probably a cop-out answer, but I think a little bit of both. I think we all watched the Knicks last year, and as you mentioned, there were really high highs, but they were pretty predictable night in and night out offensively. You knew what they were going to do. You know what the kind of motive was. A lot of Jalen, a lot of Cat, a lot of heavy starter minutes, right? And I think one thing that Mike is trying to implement with this offense is to have a little bit element of surprise where defenses don't know where the shots are going to come from. Jalen's going to be off the ball a little bit more. You're not going to be able to key in on him. I do think that under Thibodeau, at a point, we did kind of see what this team was going to be and how they were going to play every night. And if teams had athletic wing that they could put on Cat, a center that they could put on Josh, a bigger wing that they could put on Jalen, like they could give those teams troubles. So I think the element of surprise, the element of being able to be versatile was part of it. And then also, leaning into the bench. In Thibodeau's defense, the bench last year was not as good as it is this year and has shown to be through the early season. Jordan Clarkson has had a good start to the season. Deuce McBride missed some games, but he brings great pace and great energy to the game. Josh Hart has found his rhythm, and obviously he started a lot and played a lot last year. So I think it's a little bit of both, but I think the biggest thing is, I think if you ask the front office, they saw that this team was a bit predictable. Teams knew how to guard against them. They just had so many elite shot makers that they ended up winning more often than not.
So I keep reading, though, James, that there's still more to come. We can be so much better, and they haven't even instituted a lot of the plays. So what is the ceiling on this team in terms of offensively? Because right now we can see exactly what they want to do. They want to fire up a lot of threes, which was successful for the Celtics as well. I wonder how successful it could be for a Knicks team when you have Josh Hart and Mitchell Robinson on the court at the same time. Do the Knicks play them 3-on-5 in terms of their offensive scheme? But how high could this team go?
Yeah, I think that's a good point, right? Like, they're shooting the lights out of the ball right now. Do I think the level that they're shooting it sustains? I mean, that would be pretty impressive if it does, right? But I think they're going to be a good three-point shooting team. It's going to be on Mike Brown to make sure he staggers the rotation, to make sure he only has one non-shooter on the floor most times. So I do think that's a good point there. But also, I mean, this is a group that they seem to be very in sync. They seem to know what they want. They seem to know what they're getting to. And if there is one way that they can improve it, the pace has not, quote unquote, improved. Pace can be a tricky stat. I think we all watch them and feel like things look a bit quicker. And I agree, like they're moving the ball more in the half court. There's more cutting in the half court. There's more movement. So they're, in a way they are playing faster, right? They're quicker decisions. But in terms of like number of possessions, it hasn't really increased much from last year. They're still shooting a lot of shots late in the shot clock. Are they better shots? Yeah, most of the time they are, but they're still shooting shots later in the shot clock. So I think if they can make less quicker decisions, if that makes sense, and they're able to put up points earlier in the shot clock, get back, get stops, do it again, like I think that's where you see them getting to the next level, where they're able, just a few less quicker decisions that puts the ball in the basket.
James Edwards III, who covers the Knicks for The Athletic, is our guest here on the Michael K. Show. So I saw Rick Brunson had an interview with Alan Hahn, I believe it was at halftime yesterday, where he said, pace, as you said, is difficult to define. He said, but we want to get the ball over the half-court line in 20 seconds. Is that their purpose, or do they want to get more possessions?
Well, I think that is part of it, too. Like, they're certainly, I think a big thing is getting into your offense quicker. And they have done that this year. Their first action has happened quicker than it did last year. So that's a big thing, right? Like, so it gives you the opportunities. If you're not able to get a good shot early in the shot clock, you still have some time to make the defense work and generate a good shot, which I think we have seen. I did note that they've still shot the same amount of shots later in the shot clock. But as I mentioned, I think the quality of those shots have been much better. So just gives yourself some time in case defenses key in on that first, second action, and then you have a third and fourth, and it ends up working. I think that's important. You just want to give yourself as much wiggle room as possible to put the ball in the basket.
All right, so I'm curious because I'm not around the team and you are. Is there a different vibe to the entire team now between Brown and Thibodeau's era?
That's a good question. I think all these guys have always liked each other as people. To me, you see the camaraderie in the locker room. They're winning. Obviously, last time we saw them last year, they ended up making the Eastern Conference Finals, but they struggled against Detroit, struggled against the Celtics, and then lose to the Pacers, right? So it's a little bit more of an intense situation. I would say the vibes are good. I think that the team is enjoying the way that they're playing. I think that, again, there's already built-in relationships there. The Villanova guys, Mikal does a great job of bridging the gap between the veterans and the young guys. So I think the vibes are good. I don't think it's like drastically different. I think just because the last time we saw this Knicks team prior to the season was in a very intense environment, it would be easy to say that. But I think that overall, like, I think it's a collection of guys that like each other personally, and I think it shows. And now their chemistry is really showing on the floor too.
All right, and covering the team, how different is it covering Thibodeau and Brown? Because I heard from a lot of people I know in the NBA that Brown really never shuts up. He just loves to talk. And Thibodeau would seem like the complete opposite of that. Is it a different way to cover the team?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that's definitely true. Mike does like to talk, and for a reporter, that's great, right? Like, if you're writing a notebook, like, Mike Brown can fill it for you.
Mm-hmm.
He's willing to go in depth about why they do certain things or why they don't do certain things. That's not something Tom did all the time. Mike starts all of his post-game press conferences with breaking down what went wrong in the game or what went right in the game before we even ask a question. So he kind of doesn't always leave us something to ask. That doesn't sound redundant, but I mean, at least he's offering up, right? Like, and he's willing to share and give his thoughts and his insights. And so yeah, it's definitely a different change. Tom was always a good guy to me. I only covered him for a year, coming from Detroit, and so he was always a good guy. It's just different in the information that Mike is willing to let out in comparison to Tibbs.
All right, so the only team in the East that has a better record than the Knicks right now is Detroit at 9-2. And the teams that we thought were going to struggle with the injuries, obviously Boston struggled, Indiana struggled mightily. What is the impediment for the Knicks to get to the finals? Because I look at it and it almost seems like the Red Sea is parted. Everything is there for them to make the finals this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are some teams that could make them sweat for sure. Detroit being one of them, and obviously they got into a really good. I mean, that was, aside from my connection of covering both teams, I thought that was one of the best playoff series all of last year. That was really fun, entertaining, intense basketball. Miami's looking really good. They're in this like no ball screen offense. They're scoring at high volumes. They're defending at a good rate. Obviously, they have championship pedigree there. Cleveland, I know a lot of people in New York don't take them seriously because of their playoff woes and the Knicks' success against them, but they still are a very good team. Milwaukee still has Giannis. Philly looks good, even with Embiid still kind of figuring out his health status. So I think there are some teams that can make them sweat. I definitely think the Knicks probably have the highest ceiling in the East right now this year. To me, that's what kind of this winning streak, yes, you can only control who's in front of you. And they've beaten the teams that they're supposed to beat. But I'm interested to see if some of the scheduling favor that they've had clouds maybe a few things that they really need to tweak in order to get to that mountaintop, right? I don't think the defense has been great even during this winning streak. Memphis is one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league, and I think they've shot 38%. They're one of the worst three-point shooting or three-point defensive teams so far this year. So when they play a team that can stop them every now and then, as opposed to the likes of Brooklyn and Washington, what does that look like? But I think right now, just their ceiling and how they're clicking, to me, yeah, they have the highest ceiling in the East.
All right, before I let you go, whenever I say this, I get attacked. People don't like when I say this. I'm a big Mitchell Robinson fan because when he's on the court, he changes things for the other team's offense. He does. It's clear. Great offensive rebounder. But if I'm running the Knicks, I'm not signing him after this year. I can't. The guy can't stay on the court. He's also limited. He's not an offensive player at all. James, would you bring him back on a big money contract?
Yeah, right. That's the tough call. They look different when he's playing. He was probably the second most important player during that playoff run last year, just in terms of his presence. Defensively, like you said, teams are aware when he's around the rim and maybe hesitate to put shots up, and he's a tremendous offensive rebounder. So I've been saying this. If you're Mitchell Robinson, I understand why you're trying to get one more big contract, right? Your importance has been shown at the highest stage of this game. And I also understand if you're the Knicks, why they have yet to reach a extension. You wonder how many more years he has left to be able to even play 50 games at the level he's played at. So I understand both sides. I'm curious to see how they handle it. But if you're the Knicks, you do have to. I mean, nobody knows his health better than the Knicks, right? Like, he's only played only for one team his whole career. So if they don't sign him, they must not feel very great about his next few years and how he's going to age. And if they do, then maybe it's not as bad as everything's kind of been led on to believe. So we'll see, but I understand both sides of the coin for sure.
I mean, to me, there's a price point. If I could get him at a decent price point and a decent year point, and bring him back. But if he's looking for the big score, and I don't blame him, he's not doing it in New York under me. I just can't. As you said, they know his health better than anybody, but the guy can't play back-to-back. He missed the first 4 games of the season for ankle management, which I didn't understand. So I think there's a lot of risk there, James.
No, I totally understand, and I listen. It makes sense to have hesitation with that, and if you could bring him back like on a 2-year, $28 million deal, or even 2-year, $40 million deal, like $20 million in today's salary cap. Like, I mean, for the Knicks, it's something, but just general value, like that's not bad. But if you're talking about like 30 and above, then you gotta really have conversations about where you think how he's going to age and where he's going to go from here.
Great stuff, James. Keep up the good work. Love reading you about the Knicks and the Athletic, and thanks for coming. I hope to talk to you soon.
Anytime. I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you, guys.
You got it. James Edwards III. Read him in The Athletic. He does a great job covering the Knicks. Rich Cimini does an unbelievable job covering the Jets. He's the guy now to break all the news injury-wise because the petulant coach doesn't want to do that. We'll talk to Rich Cimini about that when we get back, so I want you to stay tuned for that. But first, I want to remind you about something that is a big deal in my house. The Hess toy truck's back, and it's better than ever. 2 racers, 1 amazing holiday gift. The 2025 stock car racers are loaded with action-packed features, including 67 animated lights, 5 realistic sounds, and a pull-back motor. Available exclusively at HessToyTruck.com for $49.99 with free standard shipping and batteries included.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. That's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
Hey, it's Kirk Herbstreit. On game day, great prep makes all the difference. Same goes for your pizza. That's why I go with Frigidaire Stone-Baked Pizza Oven. Fresh pizzas go from dough to done in just 2 minutes.
Whether you're throwing a party or squeezing in dinner between plays, this oven delivers hot, crispy, restaurant-quality pizza right from your kitchen. Only from Frigidaire. Game-ready pizza. Get it today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. All investments involve risk, including loss of principal. Options, futures, and crypto trading carry significant risk and may not suit all investors. Securities offered through Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Futures trading is offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto LLC, NMLS ID 1702840, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Portfolio management offered by Robinhood Strategies, an SEC registered advisor.
From the regular season to the Super Bowl, ESPN New York is your destination for football. We've got crazy fans,
If the Giants somehow beat the Cowboys, I'm going to take a dump on your head.
You can feel good because you're a damn football team.
Expert analysis.
Marcus Spears joins us now. ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody.
Mel Kiper Jr.
The Hall of Famer Steve Young.
He's kind of our resident general manager, Louis Riddick.
We got Mike Tannenbaum right now.
And all your fantasy and wagering needs. This is ESPN New York. We are football.
Well, amongst all the things that Rich Cimini has to worry about, he's the guy now that will be giving injury updates on the Jets because their petulant head coach didn't like the fact that Rich reported something about Garrett Wilson that said coach Aaron Glenn has not reported. So he wouldn't give an injury update yesterday. He said, ask Rich. Really fifth grade stuff, in my opinion. Really, really fifth grade stuff. So let's bring in Rich Cimini, who not only covers the Jets for us, but now is also responsible for giving injury updates. Rich, how you doing? That's a lot of work you have in front of you now.
Yeah, good to be with you, Michael. Checking with the doctors right now to put out the injury report for later today. That was a strange
You were not there yesterday, right, when he said that?
Yeah, and that's my only regret. It's like I never miss midweek press conferences. I haven't missed one in years, but this is my first year on the Pro Football Hall of Fame selection committee.
Right.
And we had our first meeting yesterday, a Zoom call that lasted several hours that prohibited me from being out there yesterday. So I missed all the fireworks.
All right, so when he said that, did that surprise you? And did it surprise you that in a league that should be worried about connections with gambling and everything, that the coach is not giving injury updates?
Well, first of all, there's no rule that says the coach has to give an injury update. I mean, every team is required to give an injury report at the end of the day, and so the Jets are compliant by doing that. It's up to the coach's discretion how much he wants to talk about it. I mean, some coaches do more than others. Belichick didn't do it for 20 years, and Glenn is probably a little on the lower end of the scale. I don't think he gives out a lot of injury information, a little, not much. And so, that surprised me yesterday that he went down that road. I thought it could have been certainly something that could have been handled in private.
Has he spoken to you at all since yesterday? Because he seemed upset that you had information that I guess he wasn't willing to have out there.
No, I haven't talked to him. He's got my number if he wants to call. I didn't receive any calls from him or anyone with the organization. I think. I mean, Aaron's been around New York for 30 years. I mean, he was here as a player, came back. So I think he knows the New York market. Really, it's any market. It's not just New York. I mean, reporters, our job is to report information as we get it. And sometimes it comes from the team. The Jets clearly were not giving out a lot of information on Garrett Wilson. So I did some independent reporting and posted that story on Monday afternoon. And I don't know why he's upset with me. I was just doing my job. He probably should be upset at some other people, but I was just doing my job.
This is a difficult question to ask somebody who's on the beat, but for somebody who did this job once on the newspaper side, this guy has been nothing but truculent. He's combative. And you last time we spoke, you said that's how he was as a player, but you have a different responsibility as a head coach. Why do you think he's playing this game? Because it doesn't look good. It's not a great optic for him. He hasn't won enough to be a jerk. Bill Belichick earned the right to be a jerk. Bill Parcells earned the right to be a jerk. This guy out of the gate, he has 2 wins, so he's the champion of Ohio. He's beaten the Bengals and he's beaten the Browns, and he's acting like a jerk. Why? What's the end game for him,
Well, I mean, I do think it's part of his personality. He is a edgy guy. That's just his personality. And I think specific to the Jets, I think he came here with a preconceived notion that there was just a lot of leaks in the organization, and he wanted to come in and take total control, much like Parcells did in '97 when he came in. I mean, Parcells literally built a barbed wire fence that kept us trapped in the press room. We couldn't walk around the facility anymore. So I think Glenn came in with the idea that to get this organization turned around and create a winning culture, he was going to have to come in and take control over everything from football matters to media to medical and just run it his way and get total alignment from everyone in the organization, which I totally agree with, by the way. I think that is the absolute only way you can win consistently and flip a franchise that has been down for many years. So I understand the philosophy. I think he's probably taken it too far in these public spaces with the media, but I understand what he's trying to do. I think he just has to manage it a little better.
Are you surprised, though, that the NFL doesn't step in about the quarterback situation where he won't announce a quarterback? And I keep bringing this up, and Mike Kafka wrote about it last week in the Post. You know, we're in a day and age where gambling is prevalent, and there have been slip-up in NBA and in baseball where somebody knows who the quarterback's going to be, and if that somebody tells somebody who tells somebody it gets into the wrong hands, that's a little bit of an advantage for a gambler to put down a bet. Why is the NFL allowing this to go on where he doesn't announce a quarterback till day of the game?
Well, I mean, it's I think they're letting each team do their own thing. I don't think it's compromising anything. In each case, the information really didn't get out until the day of the game. I think there was some reports on Sunday morning. And in the previous case, it was Saturday, right before the Cincinnati game, where they ruled out Tyrod Taylor. I understand why he did it in the first time before the Cincinnati game. I think, and I reported this, and I think other people reported this as well, he was prepared to start Tyrod Taylor in that Cincinnati game. He didn't announce it because Taylor was dealing with a knee injury, he was smart about that. He didn't announce it. Could you imagine announcing it on Wednesday, Taylor's my guy, and then having to rule him out a few days later? That wouldn't have been good. So he kept it secret all week. I mean, he was combative about it. He could have just explained it, why he was doing it. But and so they ruled him out. So I get it in that circumstance. And I think before the Cleveland game, I think he was just trolling the media. You know, he won the Cincinnati game, and I think he was just doing it, again, to show that he can have complete control over the situation. He claimed that the players knew. I think everyone around the team knew. I mean, us in the media, I think we knew, but it was going to be Fields, just like we all think it's going to be Fields tomorrow night. But I think it was a case of him once again trying to, just show his control over the entire operation.
It's just, again, you're there. You know better than I do. It just seems it's a bad look the way he's acting. It just is. He hasn't won enough to do this, but he seems very comfortable playing the villain. I don't know.
I mean, maybe that's part of it too. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe he just wants to take some attention away from some of the other negativity surrounding the team, although they are on a 2-game winning streak. So I could see if they were totally reeling and he wanted to, take the attention away from some other things or the quarterback situation. And I guess he succeeded yesterday because he didn't answer any questions about Garrett Wilson, so he dodged that one. But I covered a team for 37 years, never quite saw a press conference like that yesterday, and obviously I've seen some pretty memorable press conferences over the years.
Well, you know what? It made you even more famous than you are, so there you go.
Not the kind of notoriety I'm looking for.
Good stuff, Rich. Thanks for coming on, man.
All right, Michael. Take care.
I'm going to hear from the Giant head coach, Mike Kafka, in just a moment, so stay tuned for that. First, FanDuel is the #1 sportsbook for same-game parlays. From points and rebounds to threes and assists, FanDuel is the best place to combine your favorite picks into a same-game parlay or track every stat live all in one easy-to-use app. And right now is the perfect time to join because new customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So bet on the players you love the way you want. Head to FanDuel.com/K to sign up today. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and physically present in New York. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique personal injury and workers' compensation laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling all types of accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for injured New Yorkers. From construction to car accidents and slips and falls, they've got you covered. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS, where your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off and to wear a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Sponsored by the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
880 ESPN, WHSQ, and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. A Good Karma Brands radio station.
Health surprises can change your life in an instant. You've seen it happen to others, but it doesn't have to be your story. At Princeton Longevity Center, we customize actionable and proactive health plans to maximize your lifespan and take control of your health. Our Cancer Check program combines cutting-edge technology with top medical expertise to keep you ahead of potential risks. With advanced full-body imaging, genetic testing, and multi-cancer detection blood tests, we look for even the earliest signs of problems. Results are analyzed by expert physicians who craft a personalized plan to safeguard your future. You're not just a patient, you're a partner in your health journey, backed by a team committed to helping you live longer, healthier, and more vibrantly. Our programs have saved hundreds of lives and empowered countless others to take control of their health. Be proactive with your health for the ultimate peace of mind. Call 888-8000-PLC or visit PrincetonLongevityCenter.com.
Alan Hahn here to tell you about my friends at Bathfitter. They remodeled a bath in my house, converting a tub into a shower. The result, amazing. Bathfitter offers custom bath renovations, including their unique PermaFit solution for a watertight fit. It's done in one day, easy to clean, durable with no demo, no mess, and it costs less than a standard replacement. Take advantage of their biggest sale of the year. Save up to $800 on a complete Bathfitter system. See their website or call for details and start designing your bath today at bathfitter.com.
Score a win this game day with Amazon Pickup, the MVP of package pickup. Need that new football jersey for the big matchup? With Amazon Pickup, you can collect your order from secure Amazon lockers or counters near you on your schedule. Whether you're running from work or home or straight to the tailgate, Amazon Pickup makes it easy and worry-free at no extra cost. Don't miss kickoff. Grab your gear and your packages when it works for you. Find your nearest Amazon Pickup location at amazon.com/pickupmvp. That's amazon.com/pickupmvp.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Tire care shouldn't come with extra costs or surprise fees. It should be simple, straightforward, and stress-free. So at Midas, they're rolling out the limited lifetime tire guarantee, included with every tire purchase with paid installation. You'll pay nothing for flat repairs, nada for flat replacements, zilch for tire rotations every 5,000 miles, and zero for other preventative maintenance. So with this limited lifetime tire guarantee, you'll pay a whole lot of nothing compared to what the other guys charge for tire care. That's the limited lifetime tire guarantee, only at Midas.
Welcome back to the show. Good first hour. Great stuff from James Edwards and obviously Rich Cimini. It goes by so fast. It really does. It really is the fastest 2 hours in sports talk. And there's so many ways to consume it. You can listen on 880. You can go to the ESPN New York app, which is so easy. You could be anywhere in the world. You can be in Thailand. And if you have a phone and you have the app installed and you just click on it, you could listen to me right now in Thailand. I don't know why you'd do that if you were in Thailand, but I appreciate if you're in Thailand listening. And then while you're on the app, all you have to do is click on the ESPN New York YouTube channel and subscribe. It's free, it's easy, it's fun, it's delightful. And you can see that I'm wearing a delightful red, white, and blue turtleneck today. And you can see all the great stuff behind me as well. So please, please, consume us in whichever way you feel comfortable, because we love you all. And any kind of consumption is good consumption. Hey, Game Time is brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. 7 p.m., the Rangers are in Tampa Bay to face the Lightning. Coverage begins on 10:50 a.m., and the ESPN New York app starting at 6:30. At 7 p.m., the Knicks host the Orlando Magic. Coverage begins right here on 880 ESPN and the ESPN New York app starting at 6:30 and 9:30. The Devils are in Chicago to take on the Blackhawks. And, of course, if there's a Devils game on the call on the TV side, will be the great Don LaGreca. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glass up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. We talked about this yesterday. The Giants made this massive move at about 1:50 on Monday, 1:50 p.m. And they announced, Adam Schefter announced the firing of Brian Daboll as head coach. And Mike Kafka was elevated to the assistant or the interim head coach. And only in football, really only in football, and maybe the Knicks, as I mentioned the other day, can an organization go dark for 2 days and not say anything about such a major move. So the head coach doesn't have to talk again till Wednesday, so that's when Kafka spoke. Joe Schoen, not a peep. Still not a peep. And the only word that we got from anybody of any import was a dual statement released by the Tisch family and the Mara family. That was it. And it was, it was boilerplate. This is why we made the decision. But there's no follow-up. We don't really know what Daboll did wrong other than lose, what they felt that he was lacking. We don't know exactly anything about Joe Schoen. And, they say he's going to be running point on trying to get a new coach. But then Ian O'Connor of The Athletic tweeted out yesterday, and then he followed that up with an appearance on Don Hahn and Rosenberg, saying that doesn't guarantee that Joe Schoen is the GM moving forward. He's just running point on putting together people to present to the Mara and Tisch family on who might be the coach. But if he's not going to be the GM, although the possibility still exists that he is the GM moving forward, there's just no guarantee of it. But if he's not going to be the GM, why should he be running point? And I'm not a big fan of the firms that do the interview process, like the 33rd team, which is essentially owned at least in part by Mike Tannenbaum, and they ran point on putting together the head coaching interviews for the Jets that got them Aaron Glenn. I think an organization, especially like the Giants, especially with the Mara family that has been a part of the organization since 1925, they should have enough connections in the NFL to do their own or be their own search firm. But a guy who's not sure to be here should not be the guy running point. Now, if he's definitely going to be here, then he should run point. He should be the guy selecting who is presented to the owners. But long story short, Kafka does meet with the media today. He's been the offensive coordinator for Daboll since Daboll took over. He's had play calling rights, then he had it taken away. This year he had him again, and now he's the head coach. So Mike Kafka talked today about becoming the interim head coach.
First and foremost, I want to thank the Mara and Tisch family and our GM, Joe Schoen, for giving me the opportunity here to lead this team. This is a league of incredibly difficult situations, decisions, and, I just have the utmost respect for Dabes and what he's done for me, not only as a friend, but as a coach, giving me an opportunity here to be an offensive coordinator. And so, my thoughts were with him and his family, and I just appreciate, things he's done for me, and I've learned a lot from him. In terms of where we're at right now, I'm excited to lead this group, focusing each day, taking kind of just one step at a time with the players and the coaches and getting organized, but I'm excited and looking forward to the challenge.
All right, first things first, who's going to be the offensive coordinator and who's going to be the quarterback on Sunday against Green Bay?
First and foremost, I want to make Tim Kelly our offensive coordinator. Really smart coach. He'll help us tie in the run game, the pass game. Does a great job with a lot of good experiences to bank on. We're also going to put Jameis Winston as our starting quarterback, and he'll do a great job. I have a lot of confidence in Jameis, have a lot of confidence in Russ, and he'll be the backup as Jackson works through the concussion protocol.
Well, I like that move because it just seems that Russell Wilson is just not right. Since losing the job, the times that he sprinted on the field when, darts in the concussion tent, it just doesn't look good, doesn't look right. not throwing the ball downfield. The moon ball that he throws, that's been absent. Jameis Winston is a thrill a minute. He might throw 5 touchdowns and throw 6 interceptions in the same game. But he's exciting, and I think the team will rally around him. Russell Wilson, I think these are the dying days of his NFL career. Now, Kafka went further talking about Daboll's firing.
I certainly didn't anticipate it, but it was one of those things that happened in this league. And again, I'm appreciative of what Dave has done for me as a professional, as a coach, as a person, and getting to understand and know his family. And these things are there's a human element to it too. So I'm very sensitive to that, and I wish him nothing but the best. And we'll continue to stay in touch with him because he's a great friend of mine. But there's a time for us in this group to continue to move forward and go enjoy this process and this journey.
Well, it's probably very, very difficult because this is an opportunity for Kafka, who's been on a lot of head coaching interviews. And when the Giants had that good first year, he was one of the guys that was the flavor of the month. And, he finished second or third in a lot of the head coaching derby that year. But this is a great opportunity for him. But you also feel for your friend because you have an allegiance to Daboll, who brought you in. He brought you in. And now he's gone. But I see that in all sports. Usually a coach who's aligned with the manager or the head coach is going to be the guy who gets the job when the coach or the manager is fired. And that's a tough thing to do. But now he has to grab the opportunity and run with it. Now, one of the things that he has to deal with is a Giant defense that's just been porous. They should be 5-5 if their defense was decent. And Kafka talked about conversations that he had with the defensive coordinator, Shane Bowen.
Collectively as a unit, and we've met several times over the past couple of days, get on the same page, the communication, talking about some of just the minor little tweaks that we would do throughout the week to make it more efficient and to clean up some communication stuff. So that would be for us, that's probably the biggest thing is me getting on the same page with them. I'm not, up until this point, haven't been privileged to those conversations. So, getting caught up to speed and communicating what I like and what I like to see and then them going and doing it.
One of the things that worries me with this move that the Giants made, I just go back to last year with the Jets. So Robert Saleh got fired foolishly after 5 games. 2-3, you don't fire a guy. 2-8, I could understand it. 2-3, moronic. And it turned out to be that. And the guy that took over was the defensive coordinator. And the Jets defense for the rest of the year was terrible. Terrible. Well, because Jeff Ulbrich couldn't be the defensive coordinator. He had to run everything else. And it fell flat on its face. Now, one of the good things about the Giants, even though they're 2-8, is their offense has clicked. They've scored a lot of points. A lot of points. Is that going to suffer now? That Kafka has got to be the CEO. He can't be the guy hands-on with Jackson Dart. Speaking of Dart, Bowen was asked how he is.
He's in the middle of it, and to be honest with you, I have a lot of trust in our medical staff and our medical team. They're taking great care of him. So each day I get a little bit of an update. He's right on track and right on pace in the program.
Also curious, how did Russell Wilson respond to the benching?
Russ is a true pro. Russ is a true pro, and I know he's been through a couple tough things, and the way he responds is unbelievable. I have a ton of respect for Russ. And again, he's probably going to be the backup this week. He's one play away, just like he was last week. And so we need him, and he's a crucial part of our offense. He's a crucial part of our unit and our group and our leadership group. So I'd expect nothing less from him and how he would respond to the news.
And finally, Kafka was asked, what does he think makes a good head coach?
I think the best head coaches I've been around are guys that are confident, poised, have a direction, have a plan, and then go execute the plan. And if something goes just a little bit different, then you go back and you adjust. You have flexibility to adjust, accountability, holding guys accountable to the highest standard. If it's not right, fix it. Don't wait and let things just kind of trickle and snowball. Right. So you want to be able to do that. Guys that empower players to be their best. And so those are things that I've learned over my past that I think are great qualities in a head coach and things that I try to mirror.
Well, good luck. That's all I could say is good luck. It's a tough job that he's inherited. There's still a lot of tough games on the schedule. It was no lie. The Giants' schedule was a bear. But as tough as it was on paper, with any amount of luck and fortune, they would be 5-5. And we'd be talking about Brian Daboll getting a contract extension. 1-800-919-3776. Let's go to Shooter in Stanford. Shooter.
Hola, Michael. Good
How you doing?
my friend. Always good, always good.
Good.
You're right. Russell Wilson looks soulless out there. I don't know why. He's just done. He's flat-footed. He needs to be, on his toes. He's not as fast as he used to be. He just doesn't seem to care anymore. So this is a good move. Jameis Winston should have happened a long time ago. I'm down with that. But my point is, with the Giants, coaching more than anything in football is the most important. You can get away with it not being so good in other sports, but in football you need the best and the brightest. And with the Jets, what do you think about Daboll going to be their offensive coordinator? And with the Giants, it'd be nice to bring back Belichick unless it's another Phil Jackson situation where he's just lost his mind. Thanks.
Well,
man.
I mean, bring back Belichick to be the coach? Well, he's gone. Well, I mean, Belichick's 74 years old. I'm not sure that that's the move. I'm not saying that he wouldn't want it, and he probably does want back into the NFL. But is that really the move with a young quarterback like that? In terms of Daboll, I mean, let's say the greatest offensive mind in the world, Bill Walsh, Andy Reid, Sean McVay, Shanahan, any of them, they couldn't do anything with Justin Fields as a quarterback. Brian Daboll's going to get a job. Don't worry about that. He's going to get a job. He most certainly will get a job. But I'm not sure it's going to be the Jets. Let's go to Dave in the car. Dave.
Hey, Michael. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for calling.
I'm curious for your input on this. I'm a little bit angry with the Giants organization and what they did with Dart. And it really caught my attention the other day when you were interviewing someone, and they said even though this guy, Dart, didn't play until 4 or 5 games into the season, there were more design runs for him than any other quarterback in the NFL. Am I correct? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. He's a 22-year-old kid. It's the NFL. The teams, the owners of the team are dealing with someone whose health is in decline and cancer. The coach is gone. They have an interim coach. They should have fired the GM, in my opinion. Shouldn't they be considering strongly putting Dart on the shelf until they get their ducks in order and develop something that they're going to put around him that is solid and has uniformity and continuity? I cannot believe they're going to put him back out on the field when he gets better. And that's 4 trips to the concussion and then 3 trips prior to the concussion. I don't even understand why they would consider bringing him back. Am I seeing this wrong, or am I babying Dart? Because I think they're going to destroy him if he comes back.
Well, I think Dave, it's an ugly sport, it's a nasty sport, and I think you're babying Dart. Once he is cleared of concussion protocol, then he's the quarterback, because you have to continue his progression. You can't retard his growth, and he's got to be taught. And the remainder of the games that he plays in, he's got to be taught there's a way to run. You can run in this league. There's a lot of free yards out there for quarterbacks that run. Mahomes runs. Josh Allen runs. Lamar Jackson runs. And they protect themselves. They know how to get hit. He doesn't know that yet. Can't be leading with his head. But when he's healthy, he's the quarterback. I'm sorry. He's the quarterback. You want to know what he has to, work on during the offseason. Just sit him down and put him in bubble wrap. That's the wrong move. No. He's definitely the quarterback. You are babying him. I'm sorry. You are. That's all there is to it. And, once they lost Scadaboo, and they obviously don't have a lot of faith in Tracy, they thought there were a lot of yards there for him to run. And the offense scored points, man. It's hard to say that they didn't score points. Part of what makes Jackson Dart a really intriguing talent is that he can run. But he can't run and put himself in danger. And I don't think that sitting him down for the last 7 games of the year is going to stop that. He's got to learn how to run. Now, I'm also guilty of this. We keep saying he went to the concussion tent 4 times. He got out of there 3 times. He didn't have a concussion. He took big hits, but he's had 1 concussion. Now, if you're telling me he had 4 concussions, then that would be a big concern, and I probably would put him on the shelf. But we keep advertising the fact that he's gone to the concussion tent 4 times, including the preseason. Well, that means that he's been hit hard, and that is a concern, but he has not concussed himself other than this last time. So we can put the 4 things, we can put that on the shelf. It's something to watch, but it's not something that is debilitating where he's going to have a second concussion or a third concussion. You want to make sure he's over this one before you put him out. But when he's over it, then you put him back out on the field. Let's go to Ryan in Comac. Ryan.
Hey, Michael, you're the man. Just wanted to continue on the point with the Giants. I think I'm feeling like this is maybe the 10th or 11th year in a row that we're just going into next year with no semblance of a plan whatsoever. Honestly, it feels like since 2012. And then just on that further point, it's because of the guy who's in charge. I've been thinking about this for the last couple of days. If Eli Manning's family does not make him refuse to play in San Diego, like what are we even looking at with John Mara's tenure as owner?
I mean, that's a big if, okay? But obviously the team was good enough and the reputation was good enough that Archie wanted his son to play for the Giants and not for the Chargers. So you can't say, other than that, what has he done? Well, he also hired Ernie Accorsi. I think that might have been Wells. And then he hired Jerry Reese, who was a GM when they won the 2 Super Bowls. Listen, the last thing I'm going to do is pile on John Mara. He's battling a very tough situation health-wise right now, and our prayers go out with him as he battles this very, very tough disease. But, it hasn't been good for the Giants. They've been kind of chasing their tail for a long time. Tisch is involved, too. He owns the same amount of the team as John Mara. Before they sold the 10% to the Koch family, they both own 50%. So now they both own 45%. They have just as much of a say, the Tisches, as the Maras do. They could say no, or they could say yes on things. So I'm not going to put it all on John Mara. It's been an awfully tough stretch, starting with catering to Eli. That's the biggest mistake because they chased that 3rd Super Bowl with Eli when they should have started rebuilding and looking for a quarterback before they selected Daniel Jones. But there was an allegiance to Eli, which is something I think to be endearing about the Mara family. The Giants aren't just a business, it's a family to them. And they loved Eli Manning, and they wanted to give him another kick at the can to get that 3rd Super Bowl. But it hasn't worked out. So they were chasing that. Then they selected Jones. And does it look like that bad of a selection now, the way Jones is playing in Indianapolis? Gettleman, not a lot not to like. To me, he was almost a GM version of Aaron Glenn. Truculent, wanted to argue all the time. Just had a bad relationship with the media. But, he made some pretty good picks, too. Jones, Saquon Barkley. Maybe you disagree with taking Barkley with the 2nd pick. I know I did. But the guy might end up being in the Hall of Fame just as, Gettleman predicted. He screwed up the cap, chasing another title for Eli. So there's a lot of things to put our fingers on there, but you come into the wrong place to sit here and bash John Mara, especially a guy that's going through serious health issues. Let's go to Andrew in Medford.
Yeah. Hi, Michael.
Hello, Andrew.
Hey, Michael. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I just want to say something quick about the Giants, and can I just mention something about the Yankees, too?
Sure.
Thank you. With the Giants here, Jackson Dodd, he's taken way too many hits. I mean, he's gotten I don't even know, 7. I think he's averaging 13 hits per game. Mm-hmm. And it's good size of him. He's got 17 touchdowns since he joined the Giants. So he upped the offense, but they got to get when Neighbors comes back and Scatterbo, more weapons for him, so he doesn't have to run as much and slide. He has to be a little bit smarter about it. But
well,
now
that's the thing they have to teach him is how to get hit. There's a way to get hit, and he has not mastered
Exactly. He's got to turn from it. But with the Yankees now, I'm just interested to see what you say about the Yankees because there's a lot of names going on right now with them, of course. Now, do you think they'll take Bassett because the Rays released him? And not released him, but they're not going to sign him on, and that would be a good deal, I think, for them. And then there's something with the Japanese guys. There's that Imai, I don't know if I'm saying it right, IMAI pitcher. And would they take a dabble in there? And I know they're looking at Bellinger still, and they might go with Tucker. What do you think your input is on it?
Well, I don't think they'd have a great interest in Bassett. Bassett's aging. He didn't even start a game in the postseason, although he pitched very, very well out of the bullpen. He was a big weapon for the Blue Jays. But they're not going to go into a free agent market. They have so much money invested in their starting staff. They have a big free agent contract with Rodon, Cole, and Fried. That should be enough when they're healthy. I think that you make if you want to make a trade for a guy like Alcantara, Joe Ryan, those are the things you do. I don't think you go in and you sign an aging Chris Bassett, a pitcher that I like a lot, but I don't think that's the way to go. Jerry in Virginia. Jerry.
Hey, Michael. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Haven't talked to you in a couple months. I'm doing well. Mike, I just want to say something before I bring up this trade proposal. Been listening to you before Peter was on the show, back when it was Rucco and Rosenberg before you guys. Been listening to you for that long, and I just want to say thank you. I've been going through a tough time. Me and my wife lost our baby 2 days before our due date, and it was it was the hardest thing I ever had to deal with, and you guys have just been such a great healthy distraction, I'd like to say, and
I'm sorry for your loss.
I think that's what sports are all about, and I just want to thank you for getting me through this hard time, and I love listening to you, and I just wanted to say thank you. Appreciate everything that you do.
You got it, and I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. But onto my trade proposal. So Dominguez, I feel like we don't even know if we're going to be playing him, depending on who we sign. He's horrible in the outfield. Why don't we? I mean, I don't know. You mentioned Tarek Skubal before, how you don't love it. What about Paul Skenes? They're not going to re-sign him. Pittsburgh never re-signs their free agents. Why don't we go all in, offer Dominguez, Spencer Jones, and Warren, or throw out what we can to try and get Paul Skenes and lock him in for a long-term contract.
Well, but Jerry, and I mentioned this earlier, and again, I'm so sorry you're going through what you're going through. They're not trading Skenes. He has 4 years left of control by the Pirates. Then they're not going to trade him. If they do trade him, it'll be 2 years from now. And Ben Cherington, their GM, said Paul Skenes is pitching for the Pirates in 2026. And the trade that you proposed wouldn't even get the Yankees in the door. I mean, it would have to be a massive haul to trade the guy who's going to win the Cy Young Award tonight. It's massive. But I again, don't put it on me that I don't like Skubal. I love Skubal. I'd love to have him on my staff. But it doesn't work for the Yankees to have to empty out their farm system for 1 year, and in all likelihood, you either lose him or you have to give him a contract that's bigger than what Garrett Cole makes. So you're going to have to give him a contract for $40 million a year for probably 10 years. The guy's represented by Scott Boras. You're not going to get him on the bargain, so why give up all of that when you could get him as a free agent at the end of 2026? That's what you could do. But trading all that capital to get him, what does it ensure? He makes 32 starts next year. What did it ensure for the Tigers? Nothing. They got knocked out in the playoffs. So a pitcher's important, and I think an ace is ultra important in the sport, but I'm not going to empty the cabinet for that, especially for a guy who will most assuredly will be a free agent at the end of 2026 when you could get him just for money. All right, we're going to come back with Mike Lupica because it's Wednesday. That's what we do right here on the K Show on ESPN New York.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
At Jake's 58 Casino Hotel this November, it's your chance to gobble up the green and feast on your share of $55,000 cash. Earn entries all month long and join us on Friday, November 28th from 4 to 6 p.m. 2 winners will be drawn every hour to win up to $10,000 cash. Then at 7 p.m., one lucky winner will take home a grand prize of $20,000 cash at Jake's 58 Casino Hotel.
If gambling is a problem for you or someone you care about, please call the 24-hour toll-free helpline at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
New York Lottery's holiday scratch-off games are the perfect gift for everyone on your list.
Like me, your Aunt Jules. I told you I didn't need a gift this year, but I secretly really want one.
Or me, your neighbor Frank. I hope you didn't forget I'm coming to your holiday party tonight.
Or me. Why does no one ever think of the voiceover guy? Anyway, New York Lottery's holiday scratch-off games have more winners and top prizes up to $5,000. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Whether you're shopping, gaming, or streaming this Black Friday season, don't take slow for an answer. Get Optimum Fiber for the fastest, most reliable, and most consistent internet speeds. Starting at $25 a month. Call 888-4OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com to switch. Act now and get a full year of Netflix, an unlimited mobile line, a $400 prepaid card, and more, all on us. Call 888-4OPTIMUM or visit Optimum.com today. Optimum, don't take slow for an answer. Terms apply. See Optimum.com for details.
Friends, it's football season, the best time of the year. You should be out there tailgating, cheering on your team, and enjoying every Sunday. But if you're dealing with neck pain, back pain, sciatica, or nerve pain, even getting off the couch can feel like a challenge. You don't have to live like that. There's help. Dr. Jay Shaw at Sandwell Pain is New Jersey's top pain specialist. He's Ivy League trained, double board certified, and is dedicated to helping you get back in the game. Here's what makes the difference. No surgery, no scars, no long recovery, no pain medication. Just precise, non-surgical image-guided procedures that deliver real results. Dr. Shaw treats neck pain, back pain, joint pain, migraines, nerve pain, and sciatica with a plan that's customized for you. Same-day and next-day appointments are available, and with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood, relief is always close. So don't let pain keep you on the sidelines this season. Visit SandwellPain.com to call, text, or book online. Most major insurances are accepted. That's SandwellPain.com. Relief is closer than you think, and it starts today.
Serving contractors, builders, and homeowners in the tri-state area since 1987, Brooklyn Window and Door is New York City's largest stocking dealer of quality Andersen window and doors. The professionals at Brooklyn Window and Door will help solve any of your window replacement needs or applications. Visit Brooklyn Window and Door's award-winning showroom to see the complete Andersen product line, including the 400, 100, A&E series. Andersen, built, backed, and serviced like no other window.
Visit Brooklyn Window and Door at 185 30th Street in Brooklyn or call 718-WINDOWS.
Harry Douglas here. Fellas, it's time to step up your grooming game. Manscaped just leveled up with the Lawnmower 5 and the Chairman Plus, two powerhouses built for unmatched precision, comfort, and control. Whether you're cleaning up before a night out, preparing for a big meeting, or getting ready for a game day, Manscaped has the tools to help you look and feel your absolute best. These aren't just old school clippers. They're engineered for modern men who take pride in their daily routine. So upgrade your grooming gear and experience the difference. And now you can find Manscaped products at your local Walmart.
Rich Eisen here for Sonos, the speakers that bring every game to life in my own house. With studio quality sound, Sonos makes you feel like you're right there in the stadium. Whether you're cheering on your team, binging your favorite show, or listening to the hottest songs, Sonos fills every room with incredible sound. Setup is easy. Just plug in, open the Sonos app, and you're ready to go. Want stadium quality sound at home just like me? Because I love Sonos. You will too. Explore soundbars, speakers, and more at Sonos.com. Sonos. They look as good as they sound.
Welcome back to the show. Every Wednesday at this time, we talk to the legendary Mike Lupica, New York Daily News, MLB.com, constantly best-selling author, and he joins us now on the show. Hello, Mike.
Every Wednesday at what time?
Usually at 2:30. I thought by saying legendary that you would forgive me for being a little late.
Go blow smoke at somebody else.
Wow. Somebody got off on the wrong side of the bed. I apologize for the lateness.
Not me. I'm good to go. I just noticed on Sundays, like they all kick off the ball at the NFL at the time they're supposed to. You ever watch golf tournaments when somebody has a 2:15 tee time? You know when the ball's in the air? 2:15.
Yeah, that's why I don't watch golf. But thank you. Okay. I appreciate it. Your thoughts on what the Giants did, Mike?
Oh, Michael, they had to do it. I like Daboll. I do. He's a good guy, and he showed such early speed. I mean, his rookie year, the Giants thought they had a guy doing what Mike Vrabel's doing for the Patriots right now. But you can't blow all those games and continue to keep your job. You can't start off 2-8 again, and so it was inevitable. Everything we've read and everything we know, it sounds like John Mara had to be talked out of it after the Denver game, and he just got a 2-week stay of execution. But anybody watching that game on Sunday against the Bears, Michael, they knew they were going to lose. I joked on Twitter later that I should have known that the Bears had the Giants right where they wanted them when they were losing 20-10. And it happened again, and the defense fell apart again. I don't know why they still have the same defensive coordinator. I frankly don't know why they have the same general manager because and here's what's going to happen, Mike. Because Joe Schoen is moving up on next year, the last year of his contract, you know what's going to happen? They're going to extend him. You wait and see. They're going to extend him because they don't want a, quote, lame duck general manager who has to hire the next coach. And so it just goes on and on. They've done this before. Keep the general manager, fire the coach. The general manager is usually gone within 2 years. They did it a second time. The general manager was gone within 2 years. And I'm sorry, they act now, the defenders of Schoen, all the arms of the public relations department act like he's some sort of amazing talent scout. Well, you know what? If you look at some of the players that Gettleman drafted, he did just as well. And Malik Neighbors, Mike, you and I could have picked him.
Yep.
Did he do a great job with the quarterback? It looks like he has. It definitely looks like he has. But there are no sure things. I mean, I wrote about this the other day, Michael. I went back and picked 4 games that Daniel Jones played when he was a rookie for the Celtics. And in those 4 games, his 4 best games as a rookie, he had 15 touchdown passes, no interceptions, and 1,300 passing yards. And he ran the ball. So, is there any guarantee that they're not going to screw this kid up the way Jones got screwed up? No, there's not.
And then also, you fire Daboll, which, as you said, 3 straight years of 2-8. It's certainly a resume to get fired.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
For everything that we know, Mike, including the hard knocks, it was Daboll who pushed Schoen to make that pick and trade back into the first round. So, and another thing I noticed, because having been in the business, you don't get access in the NFL to the front office. And all of a sudden in the New York Post, Paul Schwartz, about 3 weeks ago, had inside access to, to show the behind the scenes of the GM and how they work. So Schoen was already protecting his flank. He was preparing for it. And when you're the GM, Mike, you are sitting at the elbow of the owner, so you could give your state of the team and probably trash the coach. I think it's a bad look that you keep Schoen. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, we keep reading and hearing that he wasn't doing that. But, Michael, I thought the exact same thing when I saw that story. I called a friend of mine who's a Giants fan, and I said, Schoen thinks he's in trouble.
Right.
Because you don't let anybody into the scouting room. And you know what? You know where he's at his best? In the scouting room. But because you're a good scout doesn't mean that you are good at constructing a roster. And he's not. And I'm sorry. I just think this sends them further down the rabbit hole. And I'm sorry, Michael, after what we've seen since the last Super Bowl over the Patriots, the idea that this is still a great job and that you're working for really smart people. Well, listen, they are smart people, but these are the smart people who hired Pat Shurmur as the coach, who hired Joe Judge as the coach, who hired Ben McAdoo as the coach, and are now firing a coach, Daboll, in season for the second time in 4 years that they've done this. And Mike, I wrote this the other day, and I believe it. And you know me, I grew up a Giants fan. I went to college with John Mara. I loved his father. I loved his mother even more, okay? Nobody likes seeing this. But they have become as dysfunctional now, dysfunctional internally, I'm sorry, as they were coming out of the 70s, when Pete Rozelle had to step in because of the war between Mr. Mara and Tim Mara and basically hired George Young to be the general manager himself.
And what I don't understand is that they are bright people, okay? And you just said, the overlap and when you stagger the GM and the coach. How is that not known throughout the NFL? Look at what happened with Idzik on the Jets side. Why do they continue to make the same mistake over and over and over again? And there was a story yesterday in The Athletic that there's a chance that Joe Schoen might not be the GM after January. Then why is he running point on picking the head coach, Mike? None of it makes sense.
No, Mike, and again, nobody wants this for John Mayer's a good man, and he's going through a cancer diagnosis right now, and I hope he's getting better. So this is all happening to him at a very bad time in his personal life, but professionally, they have lost their way. Now, maybe it's a coach's league, Michael, and maybe this time around they will get it right. Maybe they'll get their Vrabel or Kyle Shanahan or McVay or, go down the list of the guys who are killing it right now in the National Football League. But, oh, my God, I mean, think about it again, Mike. I'll go through the litany again of all the guys who have coached this team since they shoved Tom Coughlin towards the door. By the way, sooner than he wanted it to, and even when it was really bad under Coughlin, it never was this bad.
Right.
Joe Judge, Ben McAdoo, Pat Shurmur, who, by the way, just got demoted as the offensive coordinator on a terrible University of Colorado team by Deion Sanders. And this has been a slow-moving train wreck with Brian Daboll, and who knows, maybe the season would have looked differently if they didn't blow the game against the Broncos. Maybe if they didn't blow the game against the Broncos, then they don't blow the game against the Bears. But Mike, right. I keep saying this to people who say, "Well, God, how can you hate these players? They look great for 3 periods." It's not the National Hockey League, Michael. You don't get to go home after the 3rd period.
That's a great point. Now, I want to get your take on Aaron Glenn. And perhaps I'm much too sensitive. I'm always going to be a newspaper guy. And it just bothers me how rudely he treats the media, where he feels like he's Bill Parcells, who has 2 Super Bowl trophies, and he acts like Bill Belichick, who has 6. What do you think his end game in acting like a petulant jerk day after day? What is his end game?
I don't know, Michael. I think he's doing a bad Parcells imitation, because anybody who reads my column, who's ever followed me on television or the radio or anywhere, knows that I probably quote Bill Parcells more than anybody that I've ever met in sports. Mm-hmm. And even Parcells, when he was being gruff, okay, would also do it with a wink and a nod. And you could always see it, he didn't love dealing with the media. He said to me and other people many times, "It is not my job to take my team's temperature for the media every single day." But he did it, and he did it with I believe, some panache over time. I don't know what Aaron Glenn's doing, because here's the thing, Mike. If this was his 3rd year instead of his 1st year, he'd be in as much trouble right now as Brian Daboll was coming out of the Bears game. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Mike, how did they beat the Browns last Sunday with 2 kick returns? I'm sure that there's some stats somewhere. I don't think have you ever seen a game where 2 consecutive kicks were returned for touchdowns?
No.
Mike, they won a game with 54 passing yards, and I think 45 of them came on 1 play. I've never seen a stat line like that in the National Football League. I'm really, we've talked about it before. I'm really rooting for Justin Fields. I rooted for him even harder than ever after, Woody Johnson said that bonehead stuff about him, okay? But watching that game last Sunday, I bet you had the same reaction I did. I really started to wonder whether the young man is still right-handed.
The thing that gets me is Glenn is acting like he's won a Super Bowl. All he's won is the title of Ohio. He's beaten the Bengals and the Browns. That's it. He says 2 in a row, and they had to really face awful teams in order to win. They might get their backside handed to them tomorrow. Then is he going to act like this again?
Mike, and with all due respect to even though nothing good ever comes after, with all due respect,
nothing.
With all due respect to the job he did with the Lions, it's not exactly like their defense has fallen apart without him this year.
I don't get it. I don't get how somebody from the Jets doesn't step in and go, just ease up. And why doesn't Parcells do it? I mean, he's supposedly in contact with him all the time. Because I think you said it best. He's doing a really weak imitation of Bill Parcells, and Bill Parcells is a legend. This guy's not a legend. Don't get it.
It's like in the old days when actors would do bad impressions of Cary Grant. Judy. It's like that. Okay. All right. Let me ask you a baseball question before we finish our time this week. Where do you weigh in on the Mets and Pete Alonso?
I don't think they should sign him if he wants a 7-year deal. I think if they could get him for a 3 or 4 year deal, maybe. But otherwise, if he's insisting on 6 or 7, I'd say thank you for your service. How about you?
I hope he's not looking for 7. That even with Scott Boras as your agent, I will hate to see him walk out the door. But more and more, you get the sense that it's not even about money. I don't think David Stearns wants him, Mike.
Well, he keeps talking about run prevention. That doesn't really play into Pete's wheelhouse.
Well, I mean, the guy knocked in more runs than everybody except one guy in baseball. So even if you bring in Keith Hernandez, how are you going to balance that off on the ledger sheet?
It's a good point. I think it's a real tough decision. I think that if they do sign him, I'll say something that might shock you. If they sign him, it's the beginning of the end of the relationship between Cohen and Stearns, because I don't think Stearns wants any part of him and didn't want him last year.
Well, guess what? If I'm Steve Cohen, you've heard me use this line before, Michael, and if I'm Steve Cohen and I spent what I spent on baseball players last year not to make the playoffs, it's time for my guru to start guruing.
Now would be a good time. They got a lot of work to do. Mike, apologies on the lateness.
No, I'm kidding, Michael. I love doing this with you, and I'll talk to you next Wednesday, pal.
Be good. Have a great rest of the week. That's
okay,
Mike Lupica.
Bye.
You can read him in the Daily News, MLB.com, and any number of books that he has authored on the New York Times best-selling list. All right, we're going to follow it up with a lot of your phone calls. Obviously, that's a big part of it because you are, in fact, the co-host. You know that. I tell you that every day. I love you so much. FanDuel is the number one sportsbook for same-game parlays. From points and rebounds to threes and assists, FanDuel is the best place to combine your favorite picks into a same-game parlay or track every stat live all in one easy-to-use app. And right now, the perfect time to join. Right now, because new customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So bet on the players you love the way you want. Head to FanDuel.com/K to sign up today. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA, 21 plus and physically present in New York. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm." Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Wednesday with Hahn and Rosenberg. Can the Knicks remain perfect at home?
Bridges out to Brunson for 3. That is a big sequence right there, putting the Knicks back up by 13 points.
Playing here at MSG, playing at home, there's no better place to play for a group, and we fed off the energy of being here. We strung some games together because we played the right way on both ends of the floor.
Hahn and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Dave Rothenberg here to tell you about my friends at Bathfitter. They converted my kid's bath to a shower and did an incredible job. They offer custom bath renovations, including their unique PermaFit solution for a watertight fit, and it's done in just one day. It's durable and easy to clean with no demo or mess and a lower cost than a standard replacement. Take advantage of the biggest sale of the entire year. Save up to $800 on a complete Bathfitter system. See their website or call for details and start designing your bath today at bathfitter.com.
For over 100 years, Slomin's has been your trusted partner in comfort. When it comes to home heating oil, we deliver more than just quality fuel. We deliver peace of mind. With price protection, automatic deliveries, 24/7 service, and up to 30 days to pay your invoice. Our dedicated team is just a call away, ensuring you stay warm and comfortable all winter long. Slomin's, New York and New Jersey's largest heating oil provider, proudly serving our community for generations. Give us a call today at 866-GET-HEAT or visit oil.slomins.com.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. Shorter days don't have to be so dismal. It's time to reach out and check in with those you care about. And to remind ourselves that we're not alone. As seasons change and days grow darker sooner, it can be a tough time for many. This November, BetterHelp's encouraging everyone to reach out, check in on friends, reconnect with loved ones, and remind the people in your life that you're there. BetterHelp does the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. Short questionnaire helps you identify your needs and preferences, and our 12-plus years of experience and industry-leading match fulfillment rate means we typically get it right the first time. If you aren't happy with your match, switch to a different therapist at any time from our tailored recommendations. This month, don't wait to reach out. Whether you're checking in on a friend or reaching out to a therapist yourself, BetterHelp makes it easier to take that first step. Our listeners get 10% off their first month. Just call pound 250 and say the keyword timeout. That's keyword timeout after calling pound 250.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible: overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
This holiday season, Target has your back with irresistibly cool gifts for everyone on your list. For the trendsetter, start with affordable beauty kits and gift sets. Need something the whole fam will love? Grab snuggly matching fits in every size and style. And for the thrill seekers, don't forget the hottest toys and tech of the season. Target's got you covered with the best deals for endless fun. Shop in store or online. And step into the holidays with Target. Restrictions apply.
You live for this. The wins, the losses, the slam dunks, and the buzzer beaters. The dream that this is your team's year. Hope, it's what keeps you coming back. So you represent with anticipation and with pride. Because when everything's on the line, your support means everything. That's why the NBA Store is here to support you. Check out the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
Welcome back to the show. So we mentioned this yesterday. Nico Harrison fired as a GM of the Mavericks, and obviously a lot of it is trading Luka. That's where it all started. But the interesting thing is that there's stories that have come out that Jason Kidd, the coach of the Mavericks, was all in on trading Luka, all in. So how does Harrison take the fall and not Kidd? Kind of weird, right? Kind of strange. And a lot of this started that there was a kid, like a 15-year-old kid, who gave the finger to the owner of the Mavericks. They have season tickets, the kid and the dad. And then the dad made the kid go and apologize to the owner. And then he sat with the owner wearing a Lakers Luka jersey. And then, like a day after that, Nico Harrison was fired. So what a mess. What a mess in Dallas. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Donnie in Staten Island. Donnie.
Michael, good afternoon.
What's going on, Don?
Just working remote from home. Always need to tune into the K-Stir, as I always do. I just have to touch on quick 2 points, and I know time is limited, but I heard you on a caller about Paul Skenes, Scott Boras, and what got me, honestly, is I don't know this. I'm not in that realm of the business, but what makes Scott Boras so special? He deals with the best athletes in the industry that make them his agent.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm ignorant in the field, but I just feel like you're not doing anything special with superstars to get them paid. So
well,
that's just
it's certainly a good point, but I'll try to explain it. He happens to be brilliant. He also did play the game at a minor league level, and he knows how to work the market. He knows how to work one team against the other. He's just great at it. And although Juan Soto is a stupendous talent, I'm not sure that another agent would have gotten the deal that Scott Boras did. Scott Boras just, even with the best players, Donnie, gets the biggest contracts. He just does. And when others with similar players don't get the same deal. He is relentless in his negotiating. He does not give an inch. He's not trying to save baseball. He's just doing work for his client. I think other agents look at the impact that it could have on the game as a whole. That's not Scott Boras' thing. Scott Boras' thing, I'm going to get the last dime for my guy. That's it. So whether he's special or not, and you're right, I think part of his allure is that he does represent the best athletes and promises them great things. Now, he's screwed up on some. If you want to do a history lesson, check out, Spike Owen. There are some players that didn't score when he promised them that he would score. But for the most part, I'd say he's got a success rate that is better than any other agent. Now, does that make him special? He starts scouting players when they're in high school. So he knows when players are going to be great. He signed Alex Rodriguez when he was at Westminster Christian in Miami. So he saw something there and really started scouting him when he was, 13, 14 years old. The guy's a genius. He really is. Now, that's a big word to throw around, but I think also what makes him special is he gets the allegiance of his clients. He gets them to trust him to the nth degree. When he tells them to walk, they walk. When he tells them to take, they take. You think Alex wanted to play with Texas? No. But that's where Boras got the biggest deal, doubled the deal of Kevin Garnett, and that's where Alex went. He gets the allegiance of his clients. Now, his clients sometimes leave him. Alex left him. Mark Teixeira ended up leaving him. But it seems like most of them are very, very happy with him. And I didn't say that Boras represents Skenes. He represents Skubal. So when you trade for Skubal, you have to know you're getting 1 year. Then he's going to go to the free agent market and take the highest bid. There's no allegiance. None. Zero. Because that's the way he operates. Now, whether or not you say that, well, does that make him great? Well, if you have an agent, you want your agent to get your top dollar. That does make him great in that realm. All right, we'll be back again tomorrow at 1. Thursday's big football day. We talked to Dan Orlovsky and Chris Sims, so we love doing that. Any of the breaking stories, we'll look at the Knicks in Orlando tonight as well. A lot of stuff to do, and Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg will do more of it in just a moment. In the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody, have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow at 1.
Wednesday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Can the Knicks remain perfect at home?
Bridges out to Brunson for 3. That is a big sequence right there, putting the Knicks back up by 13 points.
Playing here at MSG.